Yaarub Suleiman Badr was born on June 3, 1959. He is a Syrian politician currently serving as the Minister of Transportation in the Syrian transitional government, having assumed office on March 29, 2025. Prior to this role, he held the same position, Minister of Transportation, from 2006 until 2011 in the Syrian government of Bashar al-Assad. Badr's academic background focused on civil engineering and transportation. He completed a postgraduate degree at the École nationale des ponts et chaussées in Paris, France. Continuing his studies there, he earned a PhD in transportation in 1991. He then became a professor of civil engineering at Syrian University in Latakia before becoming Minister of Transportation in 2006. During his 2006 to 2011 tenure as Minister of Transportation, Yaarub Suleiman Badr's primary goals centered on modernizing Syria's transportation infrastructure across various sectors. This included initiating projects aimed at upgrading and expanding the national road network to improve connectivity between cities and rural areas, which was crucial for both passenger and freight movement. He also emphasized the development of air and sea transport facilities, involving improvements to airports and ports to better handle international travel and trade. Furthermore, Badr's commitment to enhancing public transportation systems with urban centers aimed to make daily commutes more efficient and accessible for Syrian citizens. A notable achievement during this period, 2006 to 2011, was a 24% decrease in traffic fatalities between 2008 and 2010. His broader aim was to establish a more efficient and modern transportation sector that could support Syria's economic growth and social development. When the Syrian civil war began in March 2011, Badr ended his tenure as Minister of Transportation. Between the end of his first term and his reappointment in March 2025, Badr returned to academia. He served as a professor of civil engineering at the International Arab University in Damascus and also taught a master's program in traffic safety management at St. Joseph University in Beirut, starting in 2014. From 2014 to 2024, he also worked as a regional transport and logistics advisor for the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Western Asia. The Syrian civil war, which began in March 2011 and lasted until the fall of the Assad regime in December 2024, had a devastating impact on Syria's transportation system. Years of conflict, characterized by intense fighting, airstrikes, and sieges, led to widespread destruction of critical infrastructure. Roads and bridges, already in poor condition due to a lack of maintenance before the war, suffered extensive damage from bombings, military vehicle traffic, and the accumulation of rubble and debris, rendering many impassable and disrupting the movement of goods and people. Key highways, once vital for trade and connectivity, became hazardous and were sometimes completely blocked. Airports and ports, essential for international trade and travel, also sustained significant damage, hindering Syria's ability to engage in global commerce and receive international aid. Public transportation systems within cities were severely disrupted or destroyed, impacting the daily lives and mobility of the population. The conflict also led to a collapse of trade and economic activity, further straining the transportation sector. Sanctions imposed on the Assad regime exacerbated the situation, impeding the import of essential materials and equipment needed for maintenance and repair. The cumulative effect of the war was a severely crippled transportation network, which hindered humanitarian efforts, economic recovery, and the overall well-being of the Syrian people. Rebuilding this infrastructure is a monumental task that the new transitional government, formed in March 2025, must prioritize for the nation's recovery and future stability. As the Syrian Minister of Transportation in the transitional government formed in March 2025, Yaarub Suleiman Badr faces immense challenges in rebuilding and modernizing a transportation system severely damaged by the Syrian civil war. One of the most pressing challenges is the widespread destruction of infrastructure. Roads, bridges, airports, and seaports have suffered significant damage. His primary goal in addressing this is to rehabilitate and reconstruct these vital networks, to restore essential transportation services for citizens, and facilitate economic recovery. Another significant challenge is the disruption of public transportation within cities. Years of conflict have crippled urban transit systems, impacting the daily lives and mobility of the population. Badr's goal is to revitalize public transportation to improve accessibility and efficiency for urban populations. Furthermore, the economic devastation caused by the war and the impact of sanctions present considerable obstacles. Securing funding and resources for large-scale reconstruction projects will be a major hurdle. Badr aims to attract investment and international cooperation to finance the necessary repairs and upgrades to the transportation sector. He has already discussed potential cooperation in public transport with Norway and explored investment opportunities with Chinese companies. In addition to physical reconstruction, raising traffic safety standards remains a crucial goal, building upon his previous efforts where a reported decrease in traffic fatalities was achieved. He also aims to modernize the legal and regulatory frameworks governing the transportation sector to align with current local, regional, and international developments. Ultimately, Yaarub Suleiman Badr's overarching goal is to establish a robust, modern, and safe transportation system that supports Syria's recovery, facilitates economic growth, and improves the lives of its citizens. He emphasizes the need to meet the basic needs of the transportation sector quickly to achieve sustainable transportation services and enhance connectivity between cities and rural areas, while adhering to the highest standards of quality and safety. To achieve his ambitious goals for rebuilding and modernizing Syria's transportation system, Yaarub Suleiman Badr will need to rely on a wide range of individuals and institutions, both domestically and internationally. Within the Syrian transitional government, he will need close collaboration with other ministries, particularly the Ministry of Economy and Industry and the Ministry of Foreign Trade, for economic strategies and trade facilitation, the Ministry of Interior for infrastructure planning and environmental considerations, and the Ministry of Finance for budget allocation and financial management. Strong working relationships with the President and other cabinet members will be crucial for policy alignment and resource allocation. Within the Ministry of Transport and other relevant government agencies, Badr will rely on the expertise of civil engineers, transport planners, logistics specialists, and other technical professions to assess the damage, develop reconstruction plans, and oversee project implementation. Successful implementation of transportation projects, especially within urban areas, will require close cooperation with local authorities and municipalities for land acquisition, permits, and coordination of works. Collaboration with academic institutions can provide valuable research, technical expertise, and skilled graduates to support the long-term development of the transportation sector. Engaging with Syrian construction companies, logistics providers, and transportation service operators will be essential for carrying out the physical reconstruction and delivering transportation services. Creating a conducive environment for private sector investment will be key. Internationally, organizations like the United Nations Development Program, the Economic and Social Commission for Western Asia, and other relevant UN bodies can provide technical assistance, funding, and coordination for large-scale reconstruction and development projects. The World Bank and regional development banks may offer loans and grants for infrastructure development projects, provided that Syria meets their lending criteria. Engaging with friendly nations and international partners willing to provide financial aid, technical expertise, and investment will be crucial. Badr's recent discussions with Norway and Chinese companies indicate an active pursuit of such partnerships. Collaboration with global transportation bodies can provide access to better best practices, technical standards, and training programs for the Syrian transportation sector. Some international NGOs may be involved in infrastructure rehabilitation and providing transportation assistance, particularly in the humanitarian sector. By effectively leveraging the expertise, resources, and support of these diverse individuals and institutions, Yaarub Suleiman Badr can significantly enhance his capacity to address the formidable challenges facing Syria's transportation system and work toward achieving his goals. The task before Minister Yaarub Suleiman Badr is monumental. Rebuilding a transportation network shattered by years of conflict demands not only significant financial resources and extensive physical reconstruction, but also strategic planning, effective collaboration across various sectors and with international partners, and a steadfast commitment to modernization and safety. The path ahead will undoubtedly be fraught with obstacles, yet Badr's experience and the potential for international support offer a glimmer of hope for reconnecting Syria and fostering its long-term recovery through a revitalized transportation infrastructure.